The last time the Colorado Avalanche were down 3-0 in a series, 2004, second round against San Jose. Who'd they turn to? Their captain, Joe Sakic. In Game 4, an overtime winner. In Game 5 in San Jose, Forsberg sets up Super Joe Sakic. He did it again to force a 6-game. They turn to their captain tonight in dire straits, down 3-0 in this best-of-7 series.
Joe Sakic does not have a goal yet in the series, so he better do it tonight if he's going to do it. He's gotten goals in 26 of his previous 27 series that he's played in.
The Ducks coming off a huge 4-3 overtime win on Tuesday. On a night Joffrey Lupul will remember forever. He had all 4 goals, and away we go with Game 4. It is Sakic, Tanguay up front here. Tanguay walks in with LaPerriere. A backhander by LaPerriere just wide of Brizgalov. And Solani gets it back. He's on with McDonald and Kunitz, kept in by Clark. In front, Sakic has it, a shot. Saved by Brizgalov, and the puck loose and cleared away by Kunitz, and back to center ice. Great energy for the Avalanche in the first 30 seconds.
And this is the best energy we've ever seen them come out with so far in the playoffs. I believe even against Dallas, they didn't start off like this. So this is exactly what they need, and they needed it with their big players. Tanguay went in and made a big offensive hit. Sakic had a scoring chance right away. That's what they need.
Now the Ducks in with Marchand. He lost it. Marchand, Penner, and Lupul, a dynamic trio in Game 3. As the puck's up in the air, knocked down by Marchand. And Milan Hajduk, back of the goal for Loxton. Up on the wall. And Sean O'Donnell holds it in. Here's Lupul. Smashed to the end boards by Clark. Lupul keeps on going for Marchand. In front, and Lupul trying to stuff it in, and a save by Theodore, who I think has seen enough of Joffrey Lupul for this spring.
You certainly would think so after him getting 6 shots on net to get those 4 goals in the last game. 4 goals on only 6 shots, but talk about Jose Theodore. There you see him. He's got a great save percentage of .932 when facing elimination. You know, in 04, he faced 3 games like that against the Boston Bruins and won them all. And down at the other end, the big man, Brizgalov, let in 3 goals in the last game, and that's as many as he had allowed in the previous 5.5 games of the playoffs.
As he had stopped 98 consecutive shots until Dan Heinold scored late in the first period. This puck is put out of play by Brad May. The Ducks have not made any lineup changes, as you would expect from Randy Carlyle. Meanwhile, Colorado has made a couple, but why would Carlyle make any changes? This club has been outstanding as they have won all 3 games, in the last 2, of course, in the Calgary series.
The only reason the Sudbury native would make a change if he had an injury, because this lineup has just been terrific.
Turgeon and the rookie Volsky have been scratched from the Colorado lineup. Here's a chance in front, and Brett McLean was back in, a shot, and that was just wide. Ossi Vannanen also making his first appearance for the Avalanche. He's coming off a broken ankle, so Vannanen is in along with McLean. The 2 changes for Joel Quenneville.
Konowalchuk not in the lineup again tonight. We suspect a groin pull, and he was out for 61 games during the regular season.
Now Brunette ahead for Jim Dowd. Tough angle. In front and off a skate. Brizgalov didn't know where it was for a moment. It hit Heinold's skate, and the rookie goalie has it.
Jimmy Dowd played a spectacular game in game number 3 along with Danny Heinold. This was their best line. Take a look at this scoring chance. It's all created again by Jimmy Dowd. Coming in on Vishnevsky, goes around behind. A nice little throw out in front, and Heinold directs it towards Brizgalov with the skate. There you see it there. Back Rob Niedermeyer taking care of Danny Heinold. Brizgalov making sure that he had smothered the whole thing.
Well, it is Sakic, Tanguay, and Brunette, so the Avalanche get it in front. Sakic shoots. He scores! Sakic! Well, the captain has done it again, and the Avalanche lead 1-0.
Desperate straits for the Colorado Avalanche. As we said before, they've never been swept in a series since moving to Denver, Colorado from Quebec City, Canada. And Tanguay, who started this game excellently, gives a good pass to the captain, Joe. And his perfect shot off the post and in. But Alex Tanguay, who was a GOAT, in Game 3 for the way he played and was taken to task by a lot of the local media, has had a spectacular first 2 shifts. Set up Joe Sakic perfectly, and when Joe gets a shot away that close into the net, he doesn't often miss.
And that is Sakic's 82nd career playoff goal. Now the Ducks are in. Paulson wide open, and Theodore, huge save on the breakaway chance. Now Kunitz gets it, trying to center one, and it's tipped away. And the Ducks have it again. Rob Niedermayer back of the cage, hit by Dowd. Niedermayer keeps on working. And he is knocked down, Brunette with it. And he gets it ahead. Out of the zone it goes. Before Sakic scored, I was about to say that they've changed the top line. Tanguay is on that line with Brunette and Sakic, and so far, it's paid dividends.
Well, they put all the power on one line, and that was a debate all during these playoffs as to whether or not Joel Kenville should put all his power guys on one line. Brunette had been on that line and been very successful in the past.
Now Sakic wheels in again, in front for LaPerriere, and a save by Brzgalov. And the puck flipped to center ice. The Avalanche goal, Sakic from Tanguay and Brunette. Now Tanguay up the middle, took a hip check. And a penalty called on the play. Well, they rule it was more of a leg check, I guess. And the Ducks will be shorthanded.
It'll probably be a tripping call, but what about those saves that we saw just before this penalty call? We'll listen to what it is officially.
23 and a minor penalty for tripping.
That's Beauchemin.
Beauchemin gets the penalty call, but take a look at this Theodore save on Sammy Paulson. This was right away, the shift immediately after the Avalanche goal. And that's what the Ducks want to do. They want to get that energy going right away. Interesting penalty call on Beauchemin just now. He sort of threw the hip into Tanguay. Tanguay has taken 2 huge body checks already in this game because he's right into it.
Here's a Blake shot and a save by Brzgalov. Avalanche on the power play in an 0 for 28 drought. The Ducks have killed 31 in a row. Here's Hayduk setting up. Gets it on to Sakic. And the captain who has scored the goal. Brunette wheels it in front. Hayduk backhander just missed the open side as the puck was bouncing. And Soleil will wrist it down the ice.
You see the Colorado Avalanche power play drought that they are mired in, but this doesn't look like the same power play that we've seen in the first 3 games. In fact, the whole Colorado Avalanche team looks like they've got a lot more energy.
And they're 0 for 19 in this series. Here's Clark, a shot, and that's tipped off the glass and cleared down the ice by Getzlaf. Joe Quenneville said this morning, we haven't played great so far in the series, and they need a great game.
They certainly do, and you know what? The Ducks aren't playing poorly, make no mistake about it. They have just found a brand new Avalanche team coming at them, and they're doing the best they can to stem the tide.
Now Tanguay, here's Lyles, left point. Lyles in front, oh, tipped just wide by LaPerriere. Great setup there. Now LaPerriere, back to Lyles, one-timer, and that's wide. 45 to go on the power play. Now Brisebois, that shot tipped away by Marchand, and it goes out of play. Billy Jaffe, can you hear anything down there?
I can barely hear you down here, but just enough to tell you guys something. As you're talking about the Avalanche needing a good game, we spoke with the head coaches and the assistant coach, Tony Granato, this morning from the Colorado Avalanche, specifically about the power play, what they're on right now. Coaches told me, they said, we need to get more point shots. We need to get the puck back there. Already on this power play, 42 seconds left, 5 attempted shots coming from the point men.
And off the face-off, we get a penalty, I believe. It's against Brunette. And there's the referee, the veteran Bill McCreary.
It's definitely Andrew Brunette that's taking the penalty, but before he gets to call the penalty, he's going to give him a little tongue lashing to go along with it. It's a holding the stick penalty on Andrew Brunette. See if we can find it here. However, you notice that Bill McCreary, the veteran referee, said had a few words for Andrew before he announced that penalty. One of the things that we're keeping track of tonight is quality scoring chances by the Avalanche players that they need to come through for them in this game, who hadn't been coming through for them in the first 3 games. And so we're tracking the big 4 and their quality scoring chances. So far, Sakic has 2 and Hayduk 1. That's quality scoring chances.
Teams go 4-on-4 for 20 seconds, and then the Ducks will get their power play. Scott Niedermayer, what a presence he has been. Works it in deep for brother Rob. Worked over by Clark. And ahead, Richardson. tied up by Scott Niedermayer. Now back for Soleil. Soleil, a shot right on goal and a save by Theodore. The Ducks are back at full strength and on a power play.
And that puts Colorado 0 for 1 on the power play. They did have 2 shots. And you'll see this scoring opportunity by Soleil. It really isn't a scoring chance. He's trying to get a deflection or a rebound. It was just a snapshot, an easy one for Theodore to grab if nobody gets in front of it or nobody gets a stick on it. Beauchemin back on the ice now has been a big key to their power play, John, so far. Him playing with Niedermayer on the points. Beauchemin has a great slap shot, and the two of them are dynamite on the points for the Mighty Ducks.
Beauchemin leads the club with 2 power play goals in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And as you said, he has a heavy shot. Now Dan Heinold stole it. His shot blocked. Now Heinold back of the goal for Laaksonen. He loses. And with 14 minutes left in the first period, the puck back to center. Skrastic will blast it right back in. 50 left in the Ducks power play. And they are 2 for 16 in this series against Colorado. 0 for 5 in game 3. Now Lupul. Around the wall. Rob Blake ahead. And Lupul gets it again. He's got the hot hand. Back for Beauchemin. Out of the corner, Solani for Lupul. Trying to go back to the line, and that pass goes to center ice. Beauchemin couldn't keep it in. Now the Ducks set up again. Lupul, good pass into McDonald. Off a skate. Now McDonald again, tied up and poked out of there by Heinold.
Andy McDonald and Teemu Solani's line was sort of taken to task a little bit by Randy Carlyle after game 3, saying that they needed more out of them. And they needed Andy McDonald to play better. He only had 1 shot on net, I believe, in game 3.
Solani no points in his last 2 games after a 7-game point streak to start the playoffs. Now the Ducks freezing back toward the line. Soleil into the corner for Paulson. The Avalanche have killed it off, so they are back at full strength. And Brisebois wanders out of his own zone. Pass behind Brad May and a turnover, and Paulson locks in. His wrist shot hit a couple of players, and now Vananen gets it back for the Avalanche. Chased by Big Penner. Up on the wall, Lupul for Paulson to Penner. Penner had 3 assists in game 3.
He's a tough guy to handle at 245 pounds. It's tough for the defenders to tie him up.
Now right point, Soleil, he's open. Wrist shot, got through, and Penner was there, looking for the tip, but Theodore made the save. Sakic, the captain, has the only goal here in game 4. The only goal so far tonight by the captain of the Avalanche, Joe Sakic. Career number 82 for Sakic, and that ties the legendary Rocket Richard, who won 8 cups. And Neil, as you know, anytime you tie Rocket Richard in any category, it's exceptional.
Absolutely. What a player Rocket Richard was in his era, and of course, what a player Joe Sakic has been in the National Hockey League, starting off with the Quebec Nordiques, wore number 88 his first season. Little known fact.
Now we all know. 12 minutes left in the first period. Here's Penner trying to muscle in front, and he got it toward the net, but it is held out by Theodore and the Avalanche.
How about this list of all-time playoff goal scorers? Of course, who else but the great one up at top, and behind him 2 more Edmonton Oilers, and the great shooting Brett Hull, somebody you're really familiar with. Another Oiler, Glenn Anderson, and so on. Right down to Smokin' Joe.
Now Brisebois up the far side. And it is kept in by the Avalanche. Back on the line. Here's Sauer, a shot, and that goes wide. And now the puck fired to center ice by Penner. Brought along by Marchand. He's got great speed, a shot. And that was turned away by Theodore. And picked up by Richardson. In game 3, the line of Marchand, Lupul, and Penner had 8 points, was plus 10, and had 12 shots. I think they were pretty good in game 3.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to read that off. They were unbelievable. And this kid, Penner, what a find he is for David McNabb and the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. He's the one that found Dustin Penner, and what a great story he is, but a huge man, 6'4", 245, and when you look at him, he looks 6'8", 270. So he's a scary sight.
There's Highnote around the goal. It comes in front. Brisebois trying to get it. And now Friesen will poke it out for the Mighty Ducks. And Brisebois at his own line. Poked in, and Vananen has it for Colorado. Teams making a change on the fly. The shot so far 7-5 for the Avalanche as it goes back into Avalanche territory. Here's Vananen. Again, he broke his ankle in early February and missed the final 29 games. Pretty quick recovery. It's been 3 months and a week for Vananen since he had surgery on that ankle.
Well, the Avs struggled down the stretch to make the playoffs. We all know that, but they were missing not only Vananen, but Connor Walchuk, and don't forget Marcos Svatos. Don't forget Svatos, a great rookie for them and a great goal scorer.
And a penalty called here against the Ducks.
47 Anaheim minor penalty for tripping.
Well, this is something you don't see too often. Scott Niedermayer taking a penalty. He can skate and turn with anybody. And I think his stick just gets caught up in there at that particular time, because Scott Niedermayer rarely, like Nicholas Lidstrom in Detroit, these guys are so quick with their skating ability and with their stick-on-puck ability. They rarely need to take a penalty to keep in play. They're so crafty with the way they see the game and the way they're able to use their dexterity.
And the Ducks have now killed 32 in a row, but without Niedermayer, that will make it easier for the Avalanche. And he's a big reason why they've killed 32 in a row. He's all over the ice.
A Norris Trophy winner in 04 and a candidate to win it again in 06. Didn't win it in 05.
No awards given out, as we know.
Nobody did. Oh, that's right.
Now it's Blake. He had a huge goal in game 3 to tie things for Tanguay. Tanguay gets it into the zone. Little flip pass. Worked deep by Hejduk. Brizgalov kicks it.
That was a misplay.
Yeah, he got away with it. Now Hejduk gets it back to Lyles. Over for Tanguay. More of a passer than a shooter. To Lyles. Tanguay across the Blake. Blocks in a shot. And a save by Brizgalov. And back of the goal, Brunette. Now Hejduk in front. Tanguay a drive, and he wired that one high. Marchand may have tipped it. And the puck poked to center by Beauchemin. Now Marchand, oh, what a move around Lyles. In the clear, and Theodore made the save on Marchand.
What a great effort by Todd Marchand. The former Columbus Blue Jacket came here as part of the Sergei Fedorov trade, came to the Mighty Ducks, that is. What a great effort here, picking the pocket of John Michael Lyles, or moving around him. The 1-2 move through the legs, couldn't get it by Theodore. And that's the one that they call where most of your equipment is lying on the ice after that. And other players will be saying, what piece of equipment did he leave back there when he deked you right out of your...
I think we get the
Oh,
point.
okay. You get the gist of it anyways. But that was a great move by Marchand. Great effort. Marchand has been great for the Ducks in the playoffs throughout. Great effort, great speed, great tenacity.
All he is +6 in the series in 3 games. And nearly had the tying goal there.
And he's great for a pure goal scorer like Joffrey Lupul, who has benefited from him. And he's great for a great, big, huge man like Dustin Penner.
Now the Avalanche on the power play. Sakic works it in there for LaPerriere. Back in front, Rob Niedermayer hands it right to Brisebois. And his shot tipped high. Sakic back of the goal. Now in front. Brizgalov can't find it. Backhander.
Oh, what a save.
Right pad save by Brizgalov on LaPerriere. And another penalty call.
What a fantastic save by Ilya Brizgalov. He gets the pad out right in time. This game is 2-0. Ian LaPerriere had the 2-0 puck on his stick and couldn't get it by the huge pad of the big guy in net, Ilya Brizgalov. The shot from the point. Watch LaPerriere come into the zone. Sakic gets it out in front. Brizgalov tries to smother it. He can't quite smother it. And it comes over now. Here goes the leg out. There's the kick. Take a look at it now from our KFC goal cam. Right in behind. Play the goaltender if you want to. He can't smother it. It gets poked away, but the big leg comes over. What a great save by Brizgalov.
And the Avalanche will get a brief 2-man advantage. They had 2 5-on-3 advantages in game 3. Didn't score. In the first round, the Ducks were never 2 men short against Calgary.
But they got to be very careful here, John, because Scott Niedermayer is a man that comes on the ice in 5 seconds, and he is so quick and so fast. If the Ducks take possession, he could get a breakaway.
Here's Blake across. Clark a shot. Didn't get through. Now back on the line again. Clark. Wrist shot tipped high. And that goes out of play. The penalty was actually on the goalie Brizgalov for tripping.
And you know, we saw it a little bit at the end of the highlight that we just saw from inside the KFC goal cam. You could see Brizgalov bring his big stick across and trip the Colorado player right at the end of that segment. And that's what put them down 2 men. Now they're only down 1 man for another minute and 49. Colorado now 0 for 2 on the power play and 4 shots so far on their 2 power plays.
Just over 8 to go in the first period. Sakic has the only goal. But the Ducks have had some premium scoring chances. Here's another one. Rob Niedermayer's shot. And Blake blocked it. And it goes over the glass.
Let's go back and give you a chance to take a look at Brizgalov's penalty. We saw the marvelous save that he made. And here's Sakic coming out, putting it out in front. And you'll see McLean poke it free. That's when LaPerriere turns around. But watch the chop on McLean. Right there. That's the penalty. Brett McLean was in front. He got the puck loose to LaPerriere. Brizgalov didn't like the poking around, and he took umbrage to it and chopped him down. You like that word?
Very nice. You want your goalie to be that aggressive, Neil?
No, you don't want your goalie taking penalties. Stop the puck. That's all I want.
90 seconds left in the power play. Tanguay negotiates his way into the zone, but not for long. Boschman will fire it down the ice. The Avalanche trying to snap. Now an 0 for 30 drought on the power play. Brisebois blasts it around. Tanguay is there, lets it go, but right to the Ducks and Marchand. You can just tell, Neil, how much confidence the Ducks have on the penalty kill.
They do. They've got a tremendous, they're feeling good about themselves, and for the onslaught that the Avalanche has given them so far in this period, they're only down 1-0.
Now Lyles, great speed around Boschman. Lyles in the clear. Oh, what a save by Brizgalov with the shoulder. Clark kept it in. On the wall for Brunette. Now play to this side. Lyles trying to pinch it against Paulson. Off the glass, but Clark is there. Pass across. In tight to Sakic. Back on the line now for Clark. Can't find it. And now he loses it. And Boschman after it, and Clark bumps him, and that put the play offside. I thought for a moment there might be a penalty, but none called against Clark.
Well, Brett Clark panicked there when he lost the puck down in his feet and was scrambling and tried to get it back over to Sakic and didn't do it. And by then Sakic had been double teamed by the Ducks, and he's lucky that didn't turn into more. And then he might have gotten away with a penalty call when he bumped the Duck player at the blue line. But in any case, they got away with it.
Of course, the Avalanche twice in Game 3 had a 1-goal lead. Have never had a 2-goal lead in the series. Of course, they didn't score a goal in the first 2 games.
Well, and it's tough to mount a big lead in a series when you're 0 for 30 on the power play. If your power play's not clicking, you're lucky to win games by 1 goal.
Now Blake back to the Duck goal. Can't get it. It goes out high for Hayduk. And he can't hold it in, and that's what Joel Quenneville said. The biggest reason is why his club is down 3-0 in the series is the ineffective power play. We've seen it again here in the first period. Ducks are back at full strength. Scratched it for Laxinen, lost it. Solani bumped down, worked in by Kunitz. Back on the point for Soleil. A wrist shot tipped away by Dan Heinold. Randy Carlyle's Ducks, another big kill. They're down by 1 here in Game 4.
Denver, Colorado, 1-0 to score here with the Avalanche lead over the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. When you look at the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, one of the things you really notice is the depth of this team and how much everybody produces for him. Right there, the McDonald line, 15 minutes and 50 seconds of ice time, lead the way with 20 points. But look at the other 3 lines. They all are intelligent players. Those are the words that their assistant coach, Dave Ferris, uses. He says, we can play these guys fourth liners in first line situations, first liners in checking line situations. Everybody's smart, everybody's capable. We play a high tempo game, and that's very important. With a little footnote there that they're playing in high altitude here. The lungs are going to need everybody to participate.
Here's Sakic for Tanguay, a shot. Hit traffic on the way through. Now Sakic back of the cage. The Ducks have also gotten goals from their back line, 7 in the playoffs to lead all teams. Here's a shot from in tight by LaPerriere. Now Tanguay trying to wheel it in front. Hit a stick, goes right to Rob Niedermayer. And the Ducks break through the neutral zone. Now for Scott Niedermayer, long wrist shot off target. and picked up by Brunette. Center ice to Sakic. He's bumped. And now Scott Niedermayer walks in. That shot blocked again by the Avalanche defenseman, Brett Clark. Now Scott Niedermayer in front. And that's poked away by Skrastich. And it's Jim Dowd for the Avalanche down the far side. Boscheman hooked a bit by Heino. He got away with it. And now Brunette has the angle in the corner. For McLean, back down low to Heino. Now Brunette against Fedora. Here's Heino. He played a heck of a game in Game 3. Brunette wide open in front. McLean the rebound. And it's still loose and poked away. Breezeball in the corner. Now for McLean. In front, Heino to shot. Oh, what a save by Brizgalov. Unbelievable save there. Heino can't believe it. Brizgalov, his best save of the series.
Ilya Brizgalov with a couple of big saves. Take a look at this one from the net cam. They're jamming in. That's the Avalanche's game plan. Get tight on him now. Brett McLean puts it around the front of the net. What a glove save there on Danny Heino. Heino scored the goal in Game 3 that was important, but Brizgalov with a big glove on that one.
Brizgalov, a 25-year-old out of Russia, second-round pick in 2000, took over for Jaguar in Game 5 in the Calgary series and has been exceptional. Now Brunette working the corner. Paulson back there for the Mighty Ducks. Up for Soleil, under 5 to go first period. Shots 14-7 for the Avalanche. Look out here, as a little miscommunication there, as Sauer let it go and Theodore didn't know he was going to let it go. Well, coming up on the Dodge Intermission Report, Bill Clement and Keith Jones will have all the latest, including Mike Knuble in our studio tonight. It's all coming up on the Dodge Intermission Report. Well, how about those Ottawa Senators staying alive? They'll have highlights of that game as they have forced a Game 5 in that series.
And I think Mike Knuble had a cot put in the studio because they were there so late last night with that Edmonton game on the East Coast.
Lots of coffee in our Hockey Central studios for tonight's doubleheader.
And Keith Jones will keep you awake anyways. If you've got any problem, he's one guy that'll annoy you so much you'll have to stay awake.
Here's Lyles back of the cage for Brad May. Fights off the O'Donnell check. Now it is Vananen pinching in. Pass in front, hit a skate, and goes right to the Duck player, Moen, who works it down the ice. Fedora, he goes about 245, and a whistle. He runs over Blake. And a couple of players upset with Fedoruk.
Well, that was an unrecognized icing call there when Blake went back for the puck. In fact, I didn't even see the linesman with his arm in the air until the last second. A crush of players coming down, and I'm sure Fedoruk didn't know that it was going to be icing or he wouldn't have hit him. You see how many players were down there right on top of that icing call. I don't think a lot of the players recognized it as an icing. But that can start a brawl. Hit Rob Blake into the boards like that from behind. That usually will start some.
I don't think, like
fisticuffs.
I don't think Blake knew it was going to be.
Well, I think Blake knew. I don't think Fedoruk knew that it was going to be icing.
But he wasn't anticipating getting hit, and then he goes down.
Right.
But Fedoruk, as I said, goes about 245, and you know, according to his coach, his assistant coach Dave Ferris, he said he can skate about as well as anybody on the team. That's just unbelievable in today's game. Here's Sauer's shot, and that goes wide.
Rob Blake himself had 9 hits in Game 3 and blocked 5 shots, so he's been doing a lot of defensive work along with his offensive prowess.
Now the Mighty Ducks through center ice. Penner has it. Luke will skate on side. Here's Penner. In front, backhander, they score! Marchand tipped it in on a great feed. And it's 1-1 as the Ducks come storming down the ice and tie the game. What a play again by Penner.
Well, and what a play by Joffrey Lupul to stay on side. He'd gone behind the defense. The pass didn't get there, and then he had to almost do the splits to keep himself on side. That sent Penner down the wing, and this Penner has marvelous hands. See Joffrey Lupul, he just gets up there. Now look at Penner. This guy's a magician with the puck. He sends it out to Todd Marchand, and Marchand gives the backhand tip past Theodore. He wasn't properly checked on the play. Joe Sakic couldn't get quite to him. Take a look from our goal cam. Todd Marchand has no problem putting that in, but give this Dustin Penner a lot of credit. Man, oh man, what a set of hands. He's got 3 assists in game number 3, and now sets up a crucial goal to Todd Marchand. And again, Lupul deserves a lot of credit there. He made a tremendous effort to stay on side, John.
Marchand is first of the playoffs, first playoff goal in 23 games. And he ties the game at 1 as Antti Laaksonen gets it down the ice. Wisniewski pokes it back down into Avalanche territory.
You know, the other advantage this line is going to have is that naturally the Avalanche is going to be drawn towards Lupul now after Lupul getting 4 goals in game 3. And that's going to give Marchand and Penner a little bit more room, because all eyes will be on Lupul after what he did to this club, getting all 4 goals, including the overtime winner in game 3.
Penner and Scott Niedermayer get the assist on the goal by Marchand. At 16:52, now the Ducks are offside as Kunitz has it, and we have a chance to go downstairs and rejoin Billy Jaffe.
All right, thanks a lot, John and Neil. You guys were just talking about Dustin Penner and the amazing game that he had the other night. 3 assists, well, also 1 assist tonight. Well, he had such a good game passing the puck the other night. His line mate, Joffrey Lupul, started calling him Oatsy, as in another 70-something wear, number 77 that would be, former Duck, Adam Oates. Adam Oates was part of the team in 2003, helped lead them to the Stanley Cup final appearance. They lost that, but he was saying, Dustin Penner, you're passing the puck like Adam Oates. You wear number 76. I'm calling you Oatesy from now on. Back upstairs.
Well, if he can have a career like Adam Oates, he's going to be one heck of a player. But I think he's twice Oates' size.
He might be. Now Rob Niedermayer has a lane on the wing for Boschman. To the corner, snared by Paulson. Now Kunitz a shot. That was blocked. And Jim Dowd recovers. So the Ducks tie the game on a goal by Marchand. Under 2 to play here in the first period. Now the puck in the slot. Brunette tips it away. For Heinold, back to Brunette. And the Ducks forced a turnover. Lobbed in by Kunitz. Teemu Selanne in the corner, can't get it. And Sakic sprints to center. Now for Blake, who loses it now, gets it back and drives it in. And Brizgalov lost an edge. And Sakic in there now trying to steal it. And it's flipped high and out of the zone. Here's Selanne down the near wing. Left it for Scott Niedermayer. Rare shot, a save by Theodore as he stayed up and made the stop.
Theodore is having a great period. He's doing everything he can to keep that net completely closed off to the Ducks. Only the one got by him, and you couldn't blame him for that at all. A fantastic pass from Dustin Penner over to Todd Marchand. At the other end of the ice, the big guy Brizgalov is having problems handling the puck. That's the 3rd time tonight he's mishandled the puck behind the net.
And fallen down a few times.
And fallen down. Blew a tire on that last one and went right down. Couldn't lose an edge, like you said, because they don't have edges on goalie skates. They cross-grind.
Is that right?
Yeah. No edges on goalie skates. You know that. You've been around a long time.
Well, there's a slight edge.
They cross-grind them and so that you can move side to side. But nevertheless, he's playing. Take a look at the big pads and the big skates. He's playing a fantastic game tonight. That great save on Danny Heinold, and at the other end, Theodore is equal to the task.
Now a minute to go in the period. Sakic for the Avalanche. Marchand for the Mighty Ducks here in game 4. As Brisebois scoops it in high. Locks it in back of the goal. Stolen in front. Richardson. Had it roll right by his stick, and Lupul to center with Penner. And they just throw it in deep, and they tell Penner to go get it. That's the game plan.
I would too if I was on his line. If you're Todd Marchand and Joffrey Lupul and you look over and you see this jolly giant skating on your wing, you say, hey pal, if one of the 3 of us is going in, you're the man.
Now back to the Avalanche line. And Strasters tips it off the Duck player's stick. But now worked deep by Paulson. Blake up the wall for LaPerriere. It's Brad May. Oh, what a move by May. He'll walk in, and it's knocked down from behind.
But a penalty on Soleil, John, the way he took May out. What a fantastic effort by the veteran Brad May. Just a great effort. Takes a pass up in the gut from Laperriere, puts it down to his stick, and makes a fantastic move on Soleil. Here's the call. We don't hear it, but Ruslan Soleil for hooking. We didn't get the microphone call that time from the referee, but there's the move May made, and there's the penalty. He pushes him off to the side. And what a great move by Brad May. He does give energy. There's no doubt about it. Having Brad May in your lineup brings a lot of energy, and when you put him out there with Ian Laperriere, they can drive the other team nuts.
He's a power forward, but that was a finesse move. Avalanche win the faceoff on this power play. And bounced out of the circle, and that'll do it. The end of one here at Pepsi Center. Sakic had the early goal, 2:17 in, but then the late goal from Marchand on another setup by the rookie Dustin Penner. So after 20 minutes here in Game 4 at Pepsi Center, it's the Avalanche 1 and the Mighty Ducks 1.
NASCAR Auto Care, an innovative line of car care products designed to get the job done faster, easier, better.
Buggity, buggity, buggity!
NASCAR Auto Care, the quickest.
The Stanley Cup playoffs on OLN are brought to you by Dodge, the official road team of the NHL. Grab life by the horns. Dodge.
A great look at downtown Denver, Colorado, the home of Pepsi Center, where after one, it is the Avalanche 1 and the Mighty Ducks 1. Along with Neil Smith, I'm John Kelly, back live inside Pepsi Center. Good to have you with us tonight, as we saw a couple of goals in that period, and on both goals, there were some great passes, Neil Smith.
There were some great passes, and there were great battles won by the players that had to win it to get the puck around the net. First of all, it was Colorado that struck first. Who else but Joe Sakic? But watch, right off the faceoff. Actually, Colorado loses this faceoff, but as Brunette goes for the puck, Tanguay, a beautiful pass back to Joe, and all the way, the Ducks in the other games always had those men covered, not tonight. Now watch Dustin Penner, the big guy, comes up here, watch him blow by Brisebois, just out battles him, then goes around Sauer, and Sakic, as he admitted in his interview, didn't have Todd Marchand, he was just there to tip it by, so that made it 1-1.
And the Mighty Ducks might be licking their chops as we get ready for the second period. They have been outstanding in the Stanley Cup playoffs in period 2.
And the Colorado Avalanche have not been good at all this playoff season in the second period. You see their goal differential. It is something that Joel Kenville and his staff certainly want to correct, especially in a do-or-die situation like they face here tonight.
And the Avalanche on a power play to begin the second period. Remember, Soleil took that penalty late in the first period.
Yeah, so they almost have a full power play here, the Avalanche do.
With fresh ice, and we're underway in period 2. It is Clark to the line. Can't work in, and Paulson will track it down in the offensive zone. Up front, Hayduk, Sakic, and Brunette. Now Clark to the line for Brunette. And he'll slow things down on the power play. Fans on it twice. Maybe the ice is a bit wet. Here's Hayduk on the half boards. Rob Blake screens in front. Hayduk a shot, and Brizgalov got a stick on it. And Scott Niedermayer will fire it down the ice.
Well, Milan Hayduk, who's going off the ice right now, is a guy who's got to get on the score sheet for the Avalanche. Hasn't had a goal in this year's playoffs since Game 2 against Dallas. The former Rocket Richard Trophy winner that got 50 goals needs some goals for this Avalanche team to stay alive in the playoffs and go anywhere.
And now the Avalanche are offside. You know, you get the feeling that unless Colorado scores a power play goal, they probably won't win this game, Neil.
No, because again, it comes down to special teams. You have to use, when you get the opportunity to go on the power play, you have to produce in the playoffs because the other team is going to. So at some point here, Colorado's power play has to get going.
Here's a drive by Lyles and a save by Brizgalov. The Avalanche's last power play goal came in Game 3 against Dallas as they went 2 for 8 in that third game, but since then, nothing but zeros for Joel Quenneville's club.
Randy Carlyle, you got to be impressed. The first-year coach for the Mighty Ducks, what work ethic he's put into the team. That's the thing that stands out the most to me about this Duck team, is how hard they work every shift and how disciplined they stay within their system. Brian Burke made a couple of moves earlier in the season, trading big-name players like Sikora and Fedorov, where people really opened their eyes, but it has worked in what they wanted, to get a strong work ethic amongst a group of, so far, unheralded players. They don't have a lot of superstars on this team, Solani being one of the superstars that they do have, but they have a tremendous work ethic, much like Carlisle had when he was a player during his career.
Now the puck comes in front. McLean tips it. Now LaPerriere to Tanguay, wide open. A shot and a save by Brizgalov. Tanguay gets it again. On the point, Brisebois loads and fires, and that was turned away. Then Soleil's out of the box. The Ducks have killed it off again. And the Avalanche 0 for 4 on the power play.
8
and
shots.
Tipped down the ice.
8 shots so far for the Avs on their power plays.
At least they're getting some shots through tonight. Now the Ducks center it. Here's Solani off the bench, and he scores right through the legs. And it is 2-1 for the Ducks as Solani came out of nowhere and scores to make it 2-1.
Another veteran mistake by the Avalanche on this icing call that they should have been. Patrice Brisebois should have gotten to this puck, and it would have been an icing call. Look at him get beaten to the puck. Comes around to Andy McDonald, then back out to Teemu Solani. Sakic can't get there in time. It's a broken play. Look at Sakic reaching for it. And now Teemu Solani, who hadn't been on the score sheet, has now put the Ducks up 2-1. But that all started, John, because of the effort of the Ducks to make sure that they got down there. It was Kunitz and out-muscle and beat Patrice Brisebois to the puck.
And Brisebois is having a tough series. With that goal, he is now -6 in the series. And -2 tonight. Here's Haydu for Richardson, as the Ducks have their first lead of the night. And it's offside. And after the goal, Theodore looked up to the rafters here, and I think he felt he should have had that shot, Neil.
Well, he probably did. Most goalies do, especially the status of Theodore. But take a look, the little move. See the quick move around Sakic by Solani, and that made Theodore open up. Take a look at it from our KFC goal cam. See, Theodore doesn't know which way Solani's going to go. You see him hesitate, go from one leg to the other. That's because of that quick little move that Solani made as he went around Sakic, who was out reaching for the puck. But none of this should have happened, John, because Brisebois should have gotten to that puck. He had the jump on Kunitz, and he let Kunitz beat him to the puck, which nullified the icing and broke up the whole play.
Solani gets it from McDonald and Kunitz at 2:22. And the Ducks have a 2-1 lead. Here's Marchand. He scored their first goal, lost it. Now Blake trying to hit Antti Laaksonen. Lupul back for the Ducks. Pressured there by Haydu. And the puck goes across to an open side. And Big Penner has it. He lost it, but Boschman flips it down the ice. And Brett Clark steers it back of the goal for Vananen.
You talk about not scoring on the power play and how the Avalanche have to score on the power play to win this game. Well, there you have it. They've got a power play for the first 2 minutes of the period, this second period. They don't capitalize on that, and what happens right away? Everything breaks up down in their end, and Solani gets the Ducks the go-ahead goal.
And again, the Ducks have been terrific in second periods in these Stanley Cup playoffs.
15 of 31 goals scored in the second period. I don't know what Randy Carlyle feeds his team in the dressing room between the first and the second, but they are very special. They must like shooting on their own net, because, you know, in the second period is the only period that you shoot at the net by your own bench. Maybe that's it.
With a long change. They like the long changes. Either way, it works. And they have scored the early goal. Now Brisebois. Up front, Brunette, Heinold, and Dowd. This line was very good in the opening period. Marchand ahead for Friesen. Knocked back to center ice by Sauer. Now Brunette, surrounded by 3 Ducks, and he can't go anywhere. The Avalanche with their lineup changes, going with 7 defensemen tonight. As we said, Vanity coming off a broken ankle. And he hasn't played a lot so far in this game. Under 4 minutes. On the point. Paulson shot. Big rebound in front. And the Duck player cruising through there. Friesen nearly had an open side, but he fell down.
Again, it's been a tough night so far for Sauer and Brisebois playing together. That was a scoring chance down there too, where they got beaten for the puck. So this defense pair, the Ducks are really taking advantage of these two veterans.
And now LaPierre gets the glove up. We haven't seen a lot of this in this series.
Well, you're trying to draw a penalty here, John. What's going on here is McLean is doing some pushing and shoving and going up to Scott Niedermayer and trying to attract other Anaheim players to come in. Brad May's really good at this too. What you want to do is you want to annoy the other team enough that they'll come and take a minor penalty and put your team back on the power play. But they weren't able to accomplish that in this little scrum. Ian LaPierre, he's always in the middle of it. Whatever team he plays for, take a look what he did here to get this whole thing started. A little face wash, a little elbow, a little shot there. And then in comes Brett McLean and gives him the old "why I told you so" move.
But no penalties called on the play. And McLean will take the face-off against Marchand. And he kicks it right in front. Now Brad May is after it. He can't get it in front, and Fedoruk will flip it out. Vanity for Blake. Now McLean drills it deep. And goes Goloff for Scott Niedermayer. Takes the hit for May. And Travis Moen to center. He is pressured and now gets it out to the red line. Vanaden's shot was blocked. Getzlaf nearly gets it. Now the Ducks do. Scott Niedermayer has it. He walks in a shot. And a pad save by Theodore. Fedoruk down low now for Getzlaf. It was a tough load to handle.
Too many men on the ice. There was too many men on the ice. Oh, the Ducks really got away with one there, John. They clearly had too many men on the ice.
And now the puck fed to center by Skrastich. Brought in by Sakic. Sakic a shot, and Brizgalov went down and closed the 5-hole. Scott Niedermayer runs one up the near side. Clark can't get there, and Penner will drive it all the way down, and no icing here. Skrastich trying to escape the forechecking of Lupul. And finally Tanguay has it. And he gives it up. This Penner line is at it again. And now Tanguay. An errant pass to Sakic. Lupul kept it in. Now Theodore tries the near side. That's blocked by Lupul. Here's Lupul off the wall. A shot and a save by Theodore. He tried to go upstairs, and Theodore made the save. Solani came off the bench. In a finished flash, he makes it 2-1. Well, the 22-year-old Joffrey Lupul had the game of his life on Tuesday. 4 goals. Here's number 3. And in overtime, he ends it.
Only 6 shots did it take Joffrey Lupul in Game 3 to get his 4 goals. He's 4th in the NHL playoffs with 35 shots. And you know, to go along with that, he's had 10 minor penalties so far in this playoff season against Calgary and against the Avs. And 2 of those have been goaltender interference. So he's somebody that likes to get right in tight on the goaltender.
And 6 goals in the series. That is a Duck record for most goals in one series. Now Hayduk knocks it down with his stick above his shoulders. Let's go downstairs and rejoin Billy Jaffe.
All right, thank you very much, JK. You know, this morning we had a chance to sit down with Joffrey Lupul, and he talked about how in between the third period and overtime, after scoring 3 goals, he said to himself, all right, if I get another chance to get the puck on my stick, I'm not going to go high. I'm not going to shoot over the glove because I've already beaten Theodore twice over the glove. He thought to himself, if I get that chance, I'm either going to go 5-hole or I'm going to go blocker stick side. It ended up going off of Brett Clark's stick, but it did go 5-hole. Joffrey Lupul, a player that is maturing right before the Mighty Ducks' eyes.
And he has said he has worked very hard on his shot, and it's paying off.
It certainly is, and I think that was a double tip actually in overtime last night. I think it hit Patrice Brisebois' stick and Brett Clark's stick on the way through the legs of Theodore.
Here comes Hayduk. In for the Avalanche, now for Blake, right in front. Back on the line, Vannon, and a shot, and a good glove save there by Brizgalov, and he holds on. And Lupo was also saying after the game, he got phone call after phone call from aunts and uncles and grandparents and friends and everybody else. He said even some of his buddies he didn't know for a long time were calling him, congratulating him. Of course, he comes from the Edmonton area, so everybody, as you know, in Canada watches hockey, Neil.
Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta he comes from. 28 goals, 25 assists during the regular season. This is his first playoff year that he has been in, first playoff games he's been in, and what a job he's doing.
Under 7 to play in the second period. The Mighty Ducks with a 2-1 lead, trying to sweep the Avalanche out of the playoffs. Heino pokes one to the corner. Brad May, a big hit on O'Donnell. Now back of the net for Heino. Trying to fight off the Duck player. Comes up the wall. Jim Dowd is there. Sends it back behind the net. It's Heino again. Now May for Dowd. He lost it and then gloved ahead. And Brisebois can't hold it in. Now to center ice. May turns it over. Here's Friesen. And he'll push it all the way down. Theodore to play it for the Avalanche. But Getzlab on it quickly. A shot on Rob Niedermayer tipped it just wide. Now on the line. Boschem and a drive and a save by Theodore. Big rebound but gobbled up by Tanguay. And he's away. Trying to hit Sakic. That's turned over. And Travis Bowen gets it. Big collision at center. Vannon and Moen. Now it's Brisebois back to center for Blake. Sakic runs it in behind the goal. Brizgalov puts it on the glass. Sakic knocked it down. Now Scott Niedermayer. His pass blocked by Tanguay. And then Sakic supports Tanguay on the wall. Back on the point now, and Blake can't hold it in. Here's Vannon into the foot race with Kunitz. And the Ducks have 2 men on it. McDonald slammed hard into the inboard.
And they're lucky that wasn't an interference call. I don't think Andy McDonald would even touch the puck there.
Now Scott Niedermayer gets it back on the line for Boschman. Niedermayer's pass blocked by Tanguay, but Niedermayer, he is so fast and so smart, he got back quickly. And now a whistle. It's offside. Well, Saturday it's arena football on OLN. The Chicago Rush take on the Grand Rapid Rampage in the 50-yard war. The AFL on OLN. It's more fun indoors, live Saturday at 4 Eastern.
Now we talk a lot about Scott Niedermayer, and deservingly so. He's turned this franchise around with the acquisition of Scott Niedermayer in the summer, coming over from the New Jersey Devils. Brian Burke signed Rob Niedermayer, the brother, and then Scott. And what a move that was.
Pretty good combination to have. And he said that his parents, it was the happiest day of their lives when he signed along with his brother. Now they don't have to go to 2 different cities and root against 2 different teams.
Well, and they're from British Columbia too, and as we all know geography, Orange County is a lot closer to British Columbia than New Jersey.
Exit 16W. Here's the pass by Penner to the far side. Now Soleil throws it deep again for Lupul. In front, Marchand a chance, and Theodore, good save. And the puck chipped out of trouble by the Avalanche.
And this doesn't look like this looks like another typical second period for the Avalanche, doesn't it? They don't have the energy that they had in the first period. They look like they're very tentative. They're worried, and their play is scrambling.
Now Brunette will drive it deep, under 10 to play in the second period. Brizgalov puts it on the board. Solani there, lost it to Sakic. But Soleil is back in the right spot. And they don't waste any time in their own zone. And now they wave off icing.
Well, yeah, because Vannon turned the wrong way on that one, John. The puck went down the boards, and Vannon turned to the middle. When the linesman sees that, he can't call icing.
Here comes LaPerriere, trying to go outside, inside, in front. Oh, Brunette, a shot. Just missed. Now Brunette centers it. Brizgalov lost his stick, but no Avalanche was there to capitalize. And Friesen counters for the Ducks. The Scott Niedermayer shot. And a stick save by Theodore. And the puck played to the corner by Rob Niedermayer. Now for Clark. The Ducks have one man in on the puck and all four players back at center. Scott Niedermayer fires it back in. Here's Blake, long stretch pass for May. Swept in deep by McLean. Now Brad May trying to get some forechecking for McLean. This line's had good puck control in the second period. Now Heino for May. In front. Oh, what a save by Brizgalov. Great save there on Clark or Skrastich. And it's all the way back to center. That was Skrastich, who nearly had his first ever playoff goal.
Two great plays by two energy players. A great play there by Brad May to Skrastich, and then earlier it was a great play by LaPerriere setting up Brunette, and he just missed.
And then May gets it out. Fedoruk will wrist it right back in. And Theodore, he hit the back of the goal. And the Ducks take over. Here comes Penner, but he had his pocket picked by Hayduk.
Well, that's tough to say.
And now to center ice for Dowd. Alex Tanguay, great move at his line. Here's a 2-on-1. Hayduk to Blake. Blake walks in. A shot and a save by Brizgalov. As he got his own rebound, now Jim Dowd out high to the line. And the Avalanche had two men going the wrong way, and no one got a shot. Here's Penner. He fell down. In on the wing for Lupo. Lupo right in, a shot, and a save by Theodore. As Lupul's had a couple of chances. Now in front of Penner. Tips it just over the goal from a foot away. How did Penner get a stick on that?
The Mighty Ducks are in so much better control of their game than the Avalanche. The Avalanche looks so scrambly this period. They can't take control of the puck. Puck on stick time is a huge advantage to the Mighty Ducks. They've had the puck a lot more on their tape than the Avalanche have had on theirs. Their Avalanche right now are running for cover.
7:15 to play in the second. The Ducks leading 2-1. Theodore again to play it. And again, he can't get it out. Here's Paulson around the goal. Rob Niedermayer back to Soleil. Now for O'Donnell. O'Donnell, a shot and a save by Theodore. Back on the point again, Soleil. Trying to get it deep, he can't. And fed to center by Brunette. But again, there's the Avalanche not making good plays at the line, and they turn it over. Kunitz gets it in. Here comes Solani to the net in front, and he lost the handle. As the Avalanche got back and broke it up. Now locks it into the line. Here's a 2-on-1. In front, a shot by Sakic is on the glass. And back in front, and Brizgalov will hold on as the Avalanche had a 2-on-1.
I'm Scott Niedermayer of the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, and you're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on OLN.
Well, Big Brother Scott has 3 Stanley Cups to his credit. Of course, they met in 2003 in the finals. And Scott's Devils 1-7 over Rob's Ducks. They're a year apart, and the pride of Cranbrook, British Columbia. You know, Scott had his knee scoped in mid-February during the Olympic break. Didn't miss a game. He played every game. That's amazing not to miss any games after arthroscopic surgery.
Tremendous athlete, Scott Niedermayer.
And a penalty has been called here.
And it's on the Ducks for holding the stick. I don't recognize which player it is that got the holding the stick penalty. And we'll know momentarily. And the Ducks don't know who got the penalty either. Both the Niedermayers are saying which one of us got it.
27 Anaheim minor penalty for holding the stick.
Scott Niedermayer.
All right, let's check the Dodge storyline of tonight's game.
Joe Sakic with his 82nd career playoff goal. And the speedy Todd Marchand gets his first goal of the playoffs. And on a pretty negative note, the Avalanche 0 for 32 on the power play. Who would have ever thunk it?
And they get their 5th chance of the night. And the puck is shot all the way down the ice. As Blake tries to get it from Paulson, who is so strong on the puck. And the Ducks kill some time. Beauchemin back in his own zone for Soleil.
Well, if you're wondering why the Avalanche are 0 for 32, take a look at that last few seconds there. The Ducks have more control of the puck, killing the penalty, than the Avalanche do on the power play.
Now Clark into
And now they go offside, John. This is the problem. The Avalanche, I'm telling you, at this stage in the game, are completely segmented. There's no flow to their game. They're not connecting on their passes. There's no symmetry in what they're doing, and they're playing scared. They're playing like they're worried that they're going to lose. And sure enough, if they continue to play like this, they will accomplish that, because this is a completely different period than we saw in period 1 for the Avalanche. The Ducks, meanwhile, have settled their game right down and have taken complete control.
And have killed 35 in a row. In the first round against Dallas, the Avalanche power play was great. They were 5 for 28. And it's a new team and a new story for the Avalanche. Hayduk in the corner. Lost it to Beauchemin. Not clear. Wide open is Brisebois. And his shot didn't get through.
John Michael Lyles made a great effort there, great offensive effort, jumping in and checking the Duck player before he could get it down the ice. It ended up with a scoring chance for the Avalanche. The first good move that's been made on this power play.
Now Brisebois wanders into the zone. Good pass on the far side for Hayduk. Gets by an errant stick on the ice. Now it goes back to the far side for Lyles. His pass blocked, gets it again. Soleil knocks it down, but kept in by Laperriere. 25 to go in the power play. And Laperriere for Hayduk. Down low for Laperriere. Return feed to Hayduk. Wants to go and hide a Blake. He can't. Now he does. Blake for Lyles. Here's Blake, one-timer, blocked by Soleil. And fed out of the zone by Rob Niedermayer. And the fans are booing here at Pepsi Center. Now Sakic lost it. And Scott Niedermayer out of the box. Has a partial break. Gets it in front, and Theodore kicks it away. A penalty called against the Avalanche for hooking. And now the Ducks will go on the power play, up 2-1 here in Game 4.
Well, Joe Sakic loses this puck to Scott Niedermayer, who was just coming out of the penalty box. He gets the jump on Lyles. There's the tug. That stick belongs to Joe Sakic. Put the tug on the hip of Scott Niedermayer. The referee caught it, and Joe Sakic ends up in the penalty box. Joe isn't having a great night defensively. Remember, he let Marchand go for that first goal the Ducks scored. On the second one, he was there when Brisebois gave up the puck behind the net, and he couldn't quite get to it when Solani went around him and scored. And now he was caught there in the neutral zone by Scott Niedermayer, but we've got a timeout being called here, John. Or no, it's not. Sorry, it's not a timeout. It's a maintenance issue.
Perhaps a pane of glass is out of kilter, and they have to work on that.
Yep.
Well, we'll look around the National Hockey League. We had one game earlier tonight. Ottawa stayed alive. Out west, what a game last night in Edmonton. Triple overtime. Horkoff scores, and the Oilers win a big one. Still trail 2-1. As we said, Ottawa with a victory tonight. And Carolina goes for the sweep on Saturday against the Devils.
Now, of all those series, the one that nobody could predict, I don't care how big of a Hurricane fan you are, you can't predict a sweep over a team that has won 15 straight games like the New Jersey Devils.
It has Marty Brodeur.
And has a great team and has had a great end of the regular season in the playoffs. I mean, that's the shocker to me, that the Hurricanes have the Devils down 3-0.
And I'm surprised, not shocked, that Ottawa's in big trouble. A team that had a great regular season.
Well, Buffalo is playing tremendous hockey. They really are playing tremendous. I haven't been there, but I don't think it's as much Ottawa playing poorly as Buffalo playing great.
Here's Solani on this Ducks power play. They're 0 for 1 tonight. Loophole side of the goal in front. And knocked away by Clark. Now Scott Niedermayer out high. Here's Solani. Across the seam, and McDonald lost it, but he keeps on fighting and gets it back. Loophole back of the goal for Solani. In the slot, Scott Niedermayer. And crazy outside of the goalpost.
Look at Scott Niedermayer's right down in the corner now as one of the point men. The Ducks have got all them back. If the Avalanche can get the puck, they could get a great break.
Now Solani in the corner in front. A shot is tipped, and it goes into the netting And a whistle. Coming up on the Verizon Wireless Intermission Report, Bill Clement and Keith Jones joined in studio by Mike Knuble. We'll have an interview from Denver and a preview of Edmonton and San Jose's Game 4. All coming up on the Verizon Wireless Intermission Report.
What a great year Mike Knuble had for the Philadelphia Flyers. What a great pickup by Bobby Clark. I mean, a fantastic year. The Flyers, who almost ended in first place in the Atlantic Division. Remember, right at the end of the season there, it was between the Rangers, the Flyers, and the Devils. Had they not had Mike Knuble this season, I don't think they would have been anywhere close with all the injuries they went through and all the different things that happened to the Flyers. Mike Knuble was a huge part of their success this season.
And their superstar up front, Peter Forsberg, will have surgery on both ankles and is out until next January. That's a huge loss for the Flyers. But Forsberg has had problems with his ankles his entire career. And he wants to get it done right. 30 seconds left in this power play. Solani kept it in on the left wing side. Now cleared by Brisebois. Now to Scott Niedermayer on the line. A shot at Theodore. Good glove save on the hard shot by Niedermayer.
Again, you know, I hate to keep pounding at the same nail, but Brisebois with an errant pass to his defense partner caused that whole thing to happen. They had control of the puck, and it was a bad pass. There's the shot by Niedermayer. Wasn't really going in. Theodore gets his glove out. You see Niedermayer clearly misses the net here on this one. It's going wide. He's looking for the tip for Getzlaf to tip it, but Patrice Brisebois, he's having a tough time. He's been a great NHL player, but man, oh man, these last two games, as he had it tough. And that last play there where he went to pass the puck back to Kurt Sauer, completely missing him and giving the Ducks another opportunity on the power play.
Brisebois had a career high of 38 points in the regular season, but Neil, it looks like, at least in this series, he's lost his confidence.
And a lot of the Avalanche have, especially in second periods for some reason. They had great confidence in the first period, but for some reason this club has no confidence in the second period all throughout the playoffs.
And the Ducks have been great in period 2. Now 12 to go in Sakic's minor. Soleil from center. And the hard around ends up on the stick of O'Donnell. Now for McDonald. Back of the cage to Solani. He feathers one in front. Sakic out of the box, so the Ducks now 0 for 2 on the power play. But leading 2-1. And that shot by McDonald tipped away and goes over the goal.
Anaheim only has had 2 power play shots thus far in the game. They're 0 for 2, as you said, John, on the power play. But Teemu Solani scored a goal to put their club out in front 2-1. And when Teemu Solani scores in the playoffs, the Ducks are 4-0. So how about that one?
Good luck charm is Mr. Solani. The Ducks, in their history, this is their 4th trip to the playoffs. They've had 2 sweeps in their Stanley Cup history over Detroit and Minnesota, both in 03.
And what a shocker sweep that was in 03 when they took out the Detroit Red Wings in the first round. That was huge. Curtis Joseph was the goaltender back then for Detroit that took a lot of the blame undeservingly because it was a total team collapse to the Ducks for Detroit, not just the goaltender. But nevertheless, that was a huge series in the history of the Ducks.
Now Brad May gets it back of the goal. Richardson, the rookie, trying to get it by Boschem, and he can't. And Rob Niedermayer pokes it by Vananen. And the puck to the neutral zone. Sent in by Rob Niedermayer. And as you said earlier, Neil, the Avalanche in 25 prior playoff series have never been swept since moving to Denver.
And only got swept once as the Nordiques since they joined the NHL back in 79-80.
Here's a shot by May, and Brizgalov saw it despite some traffic, and he holds on.
Well, he's always there, but this is a no confidence period for the Avalanche. You really can't say that they've done anything to excite this huge crowd here in the Pepsi Center. The shot's now 24-23 Avalanche, but at the end of the first period, they were 15-10 for the Avalanche. So they've only had 9 in this period, and the Ducks have had 13.
Tanguay gets it back. Strasser's good job to keep it in.
Oh, there's a big hit of one Avalanche player on another.
Tanguay and Brunette, they're really out of sorts here in the second period. And Lupo will guide one in deep with a minute to go in the period. Now played on the wall, but Rob Niedermayer's right there for the Ducks. In front for Penner, and he didn't get a lot on it. Theodore had to make the save, and the puck squirts to center. In the final minute of the second period.
We got 40 seconds to go, and we're in a walk here so far because the Avalanche are just there. They've got nothing going. Maybe they want to get to the room and get to the third period where they've been a lot more successful than in the second. So maybe they just want to get this second period out of their system.
Now it's Paulson at his own line. Just makes the safe play down the boards, and Jim Dowd, a good skater, back to get it. Under 20 to go in the period. Here comes Dowd. In for McLean. Now to the net. Dowd gets it back in front of Brizgalov. Off balance a bit. He reaches back and holds on.
Well, if all the lines for the Avalanche could have the energy that their muckers and grinders have had, like Danny Highnote and Jimmy Dowd and Brett McLean, if their other players could have that energy level going in this second period, they would have been all right, but they haven't had that. It's been these guys, again, like in Game 3, that have had the only attempts. What another great stop by Brizgalov. There you see how out of sync they are. I mean, the Avalanche just aren't in sync. And then let's give the Ducks credit. They're actually making the Avalanche out of sync as well. They've got their game going. They're playing it perfectly here on the road, and they're just sitting back.
There's Vanning at a shot. Dowd tries to center. He does, and Brizgalov kept it out. And that is the end of the second period. And the Ducks are 20 minutes away from a 4-game sweep thanks to the goal from Solani at 2:22 of the second period. Brizgalov has been large again in goal, and after 40 minutes, the Ducks lead 2-1.
The Stanley Cup playoffs on OLN are brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Back live at Pepsi Center in Denver. The difference in the game, the goal at 2:22 of the second by the former Av, Teemu Solani, puts his club ahead 2-1 after 40 minutes. As the Ducks look for the sweep here in Game 4. Both clubs are back on the ice, ready for play here. Joffrey Lupul is wearing the microphone tonight. Let's listen in with Mic'd Up, presented by Bud Light.
Just slide down a bit. He's going to try and pull it back to me. Their whole team comes same time. There's so much chance for offense on our penalty kill.
Not a man of a lot of words, but at least you could see that he does talk to his teammates on the bench and try to figure things out. That was Andy McDonald he talked to.
Well, Joe Sakic and his club since '95 have never been swept in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Billy Jaffe, what do you have for us?
I had a chance, John, to catch up with Jacques Cloutier, one of the assistant coaches for the Colorado Avalanche. I asked him about the second period. I said, it's very different than the first. He said, yeah, I know we had some shots, Billy, but I just don't think we got them through to the front of the net enough. Yeah, they block shots, but we need to work harder. We need to get more on net. We need to challenge Brizgalov. The other thing we need to continue doing is finding a way for our back end, our defense, to get involved more. It's something, guys, that we have not seen them been able to do like they did in the first round against Dallas.
And the Ducks have done a great job of making sure that the Avalanche haven't been able to play their game. They did a tremendous job in the second period of playing their game and keeping the Avalanche at bay.
Now Blake for Sakic. He has their goal tonight. Sakic works down the slot. A backhander blocked by Beauchemin, and it goes out of play.
Well, one of the things that's crucially important in playoffs and coaches look at is defensive zone turnovers. Take a look at this in the first and second period, almost flip-flop. The Mighty Ducks not good in the first, great in the second. Avalanche good in the first, and as usual, weak in the second. They're totally out of sync in the second period. A lot more out of sync in the second period were the Avalanche than the Ducks were in the first period.
The Avalanche lost Game 4 of their first round series against Dallas. Of course, lost Game 3 of this series. They have never lost 3 consecutive playoff home games since coming to Denver. And if they don't win tonight, that will be a first. Here's Clark, a shot, and a save by Brzgalov. And he reaches back and can't get it. Now the net is free, as McLean was in the goal crease with Brzgalov.
And Brzgalov was doing his Dominic Hasek imitation. Threw down the stick and was reaching for the puck with the blocker hand. And Hasek, of course, who did that so well for so many years, he would actually put the stick down, and you have almost like a normal glove, a normal winter glove underneath your blocker. It's much easier to pick up the puck with your fingers than it is with that big trapper.
Now the Avalanche win the faceoff. They've been dominant in the faceoff circle tonight. But Hejduk's pass picked off, and Marchand slides it in behind the goal. Theodore, he gives it up to Lupul. Now back of the goal, Marchand trying to center one. And the Avalanche get it back in Richardson. Ahead for Hejduk. Going wide on O'Donnell. Now Hejduk controls it. Side of the goal. Hooked back of the net by Laaksonen. Hejduk again. Trying to find a man open. But the Ducks have everybody covered. And it goes out of the zone, and Vananen has it back for Colorado. Now to Clark. Here's Soleil around the goal. Pressure there by Laaksonen. Now for McDonald up the middle to Kunitz. He's got great speed. Trying to get it, he does! Oh, and Theodore just got enough of it, and it just missed the near post.
That squirted right through Theodore and almost went into the net. He was lucky that that one just went by the post.
Now it's McDonald. Tough angle for Kunitz. Return feed over the stick of McDonald. And Sackett gets it near the line, but not out. And the fans here, the 18,000, trying to get their club back in it. As Clark gets it ahead, Scott Niedermayer holds it in. Strastic will just fire it back to center. And drilled back in by Boschman. Solani takes a hit, takes the puck from Strastic. In front, and a shot by Fedoruk is off target as he was set up by Solani.
Great shift for the Ducks, great pressure on the Avalanche. As Strastic was tired and the defense had to get off, they really cycled them down low well on that shift.
The Avalanche this year, when trailing after two, a record of 2-3. The Ducks are 5-0 when leading after two periods. Wisniewski ahead for Moen. Good pass off the wall to Fedoruk. And now loses it, and had it chopped away by McLean. And Tanguay trolls back in his own zone. For Brisebois, back to Tanguay. Look out, Tanguay met by Wisniewski. And he goes down hard. Wisniewski led the Ducks in hits in the regular season. And Tanguay, I guarantee, knows who hit him there.
Well, Tanguay has taken 4 or 5 big-time checks in this game. You see him feeling his lip to see if he's a little bit cut there. Boy, you've got to, what a hit that was. And you got to appreciate Tanguay for being able to get up and just navigate his way off the ice. And he did get clipped up there in the lip. And maybe his teeth actually went through his lip on that one, because that shoulder of Wisniewski went right into the mush of Tanguay.
Well, May on the boards, can't knock it down. And Fedoruk for the Ducks will just dump it in. Here's Clark. All the way around for May. Counter pitch on Soleil. And it goes into Duck territory.
And the Anaheim is just going to play a simple game now. They're on the road. They've got the lead. They're exactly where they want to be. You said it before, John. They're 5-0 when leading after 2. And that's because they know exactly how to play with the lead. They play a very simple game. Get it and dump it in.
Here's Lupul, a shot, and kicked away by Theodore. And Hejduk back behind his own goal now. And they lose it. It came in front. And luckily for the Avalanche, Theodore was alert.
There's another errant maneuver by the Avalanche in their own zone, showing that they're out of sync there. They actually, Milan Hejduk, that's got hands as good as anybody in the NHL, actually loses this one to Richardson, and then Richardson hits the side of the net, and Theodore at this point has got to be thinking of suing for lack of support, because he's had to go down and snuff out all these mistakes by the Avalanche.
Just over 4 minutes gone in the third period. As the Avalanche win the draw, Sakic. Now Skrastic can't clear it. Kunitz with it. Up high in the air it goes, but Clark gloved it down. To Brunette. Look out. You can see that check coming from a mile away from Paulson. And Paulson doing some forechecking here on Clark. He got there first.
He got there. There's another time Anaheim beats the Avalanche to the puck and negates an icing call.
Now Rob Niedermayer plays it back on the Avalanche goal. Clark has it. And this time he gets it out. Right back in by Beauchemin. And the Avalanche, no flow to their game here. Getzlaf wanders in there. Rob Niedermayer shot, and a blocker save by Theodore. Rob Niedermayer again in front. Getzlaf, great chance. And a big save by Theodore with the pad. And McLean back in his own line. Now for Blake. And his pass goes off a Duck player back in the zone. And here's Blake trying to fight off the Getzlaf check. What a job by Rob Blake, who I think has been Colorado's best player in this series.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. Him and Theodore. Theodore has had an excellent series also. This thing, well, it couldn't have been over sooner because it takes 4 games, but if it's possible, it would have been over sooner.
Let's go downstairs and Billy Jaffe.
Hey, you guys mentioned how Rob Blake may be one of the best players in this game tonight for Colorado. How about one of the best players in the game for Anaheim? Right there, that guy. Sammy Paulson, maybe the most underrated player in the entire National Hockey League. Where's number 26 for the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim? Here we're going to see his good hit there. He is so strong. He is so tough on the puck because of his upper body strength. Considered one of the strongest guys pound for pound, and he has some big assignments. Hey, in the first round, he kept Jerome McGinley's line scoreless. Hey, in the last 2 games, pretty good stuff. And then through this game, coming into this one, Sakic had 1 assist only until he scored a goal early on here. And Sammy Paulson goes head-to-head against those guys regularly. Pretty impressive stuff.
Not only that, Billy, but Sammy Paulson gets game-winning goals, too. He's got 2 in the playoffs thus far, and with 3 in the regular season, that's 5 game-winning goals out of 13 goals he's scored over the course of the regular season in the playoffs. So he gets important goals, and he shuts down important players on the other teams, and he's been a very valuable asset of the Mighty Ducks.
Drafted by this Colorado team in '96. Came to 1 training camp, but then was included in the Ray Bourque trade. Now it's Clark into the zone. Richardson back to Clark. Backhander, Brizgalov. Good stick save there. That's the best chance for the Avalanche in a long time. And it goes back to the goal for Soleil. Trying to clear it out. He does by Brisebois. And here's a 2-on-1. Marchand and Penner. To Penner, wide open. He scores! Penner, the rookie! Is he having a series or what? And the Ducks have a 3-1 lead.
A tremendous play again by the Ducks. The turnover in the defensive zone. The Ducks get it up so quickly you can barely spin your head around. And it's Todd Marchand, the speedster, who gets it over to the big mountain of a man, Dustin Penner. And watch Marchand gallop in, get this 2-on-1, and it's a perfect pass. Just an absolutely perfect pass. And then Penner, give him credit. He's got the ability to shoot and score from an angle like that. The big guy, keep saying it, 6'4", 245 pounds. He can pass the puck and he can shoot the puck. It's just a great pickup by the Ducks, but the biggest pickup is the 3-1 lead they now have in this deciding game if they go on to victory.
His first ever playoff goal, and he makes it 3-1. And guess who got caught again up ice? Brisebois. Now the Avalanche attacking. McLean in front, and he can't get a shot. And here come the Ducks using their speed. McDonald on the board, knocked down by Brad May. And it's Hayduk with some room to Blake. A drive, oh, Brizgalov got his glove back and made the save. Penner's goal at 6:07, and the Ducks are in command in this series.
Let's see how that last goal developed. A 3-1 goal. Patrice Brisebois joins the play, thinks he can, but Lupul banks it off the boards to Marchand, and Marchand to Penner. That's a great view of how a goal develops. You pinch in because you need a goal. You're in the third period. The Avalanche want their offensive defensemen jumping up on the play. They want Lyles, they want Blake, they want Brisebois, Clark, and so on to jump up. But there's a danger in doing that, and Joffrey Lupul just got it past Brisebois, which created the 2-on-1 and a picture-perfect play, especially by Marchand. What a great pass.
And Penner gets his first ever goal, and he is now +7 in the series. And a goal and 4 assists in the playoffs. For a guy who was cut 3 times in Tier 2 hockey at age 15, 16, and 17, cut from his team. Now Blake on the right point, a shot, and a save by Brizgalov. And it goes out of play.
He's a great story. Dustin Penner is a tremendous story. I came into this series, John, after we did the Dallas, Colorado series, and I was unaware of this guy and his size and strength, and his skating ability is the thing that really bowls me over, is how fluid a skater he is for such a big man. And if this playoff is any indication of things to come, look out.
Now the Ducks with a 3-on-2. Friesen flips it deep. 12.5 to go in regulation time. The Ducks leading 3-1. Goals from Marchand, Solani, and Penner. Sakic had the game's first goal. Now Scott Niedermayer for his brother Rob. Into the line, Vananen gets it back to center. Sakic for Brunette. Here's a 2-on-1 with Hayduk. And a diving play to break it up by Beauchemin. What a play by the rookie Beauchemin.
He totally took the pass completely away from Brunette. Brunette was going to try to get it over to Milan Hayduk, and Beauchemin took away that pass totally.
Now Beauchemin has it again. To Marchand, he'll drive it in. Lupul can't knock it down. Soleil keeps it in. Long shot wide of the goal. And Marchand throws it deep for Lupul. Here's Lupul, banks it back to the line. Soleil, and it knocked away by Loxonen. But he hustled back and made a good play. Now from center. Driven in by Strastich. And the Ducks all the way back in their own zone. All 5 players come back, playing that good defensive hockey. They're not going to give up an odd man rush with a 2-goal lead trying to sweep this team.
Well, this is the way they've played the entire series. This isn't anything new.
You're right.
We've been watching them do this the entire series.
It's like it's methodical at this point. They are just so confident, playing such a great team game, and they will be tough if they advance to the Western Final. And at this point, you would think they would. Well, Solani lobs it up the middle. Lyle's a good play to get away from McDonald. Now for Blake. Oh, he hit his own man to Crane. And Solani will poke it back to the Avalanche line. Now McDonald stole it from Lyles. Trying to center one, but Lyles got back. And then Friesen hit by Dan Heinold. Now the puck dumped into the zone, and Brad May is after it. Back of the goal for Dowd. Out high, it's Vananen. Now Paulson back of his own net. Fights off the check. And Wisniewski will walk it on to center. This should be an icing call as Brisebois goes back. And we get the whistle.
Well, the Mighty Ducks are only 10 minutes away from sweeping the Avalanche and moving into the 3rd round. And again, this was a team that at the beginning of the year, a lot of people predicted wouldn't make the playoffs, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. You remember that it was Brian Burke got the job as general manager last summer. Mike Babcock left, the coach that had taken them to the finals in '03, and went to the Detroit Red Wings. Brian Burke hired his former minor league coach, Randy Carlisle, coached the Manitoba Moose, to come in here and set up the organization completely different. And during the season, as we pointed out earlier, made a couple of big moves in trading Sergei Fedorov, a future Hall of Famer, and then later on trading Sikora to the Rangers, 2 All-Stars, former All-Stars at least. And the Ducks were just down to basically, except for Teemu Selanne, a lunch bucket group of hard-working athletes, and they've turned that into a team that's about to go to the Western Conference Finals.
Now it is Sakic. Good play to Clark. Tough angle, and Brizgalov stands tall in net. It holds on. We'll take a break, but when we come back, we'll hear more about the fine rookie Dustin Penner, who has a big goal in this third period.
Welcome back to Denver. Ducks up 3-1, 9 minutes remaining. Many people don't know the story about Dustin Penner, just like Neil Smith didn't know about him before we came here. This is a kid 4 years ago playing for the Bottineau Lumberjacks. That is a junior college in North Dakota. He spends a year redshirt in Maine. He plays only 1 year, then the next year at Maine. Finds his way to a contract with the Mighty Ducks and plays a year in Portland. As you see, 84 points this year with them, a full season with Portland, and gets into the lineup here. This is a kid that didn't realize he had NHL aspirations or could get it until a scout called in Winkler, Manitoba, looking for any Penner in the phone book because he had never heard of him. He got his uncle forwarded to his dad forwarded a call to him and said, "You have an opportunity, kid. What do you think?" He couldn't believe it. I asked him, "Did you think about your ascent to the NHL?" He said, "Billy, I reflect on it every day. I know what it took to get here. I know what it's going to take to stay here. I still get calls from my friend Daly saying, 4 years ago, you couldn't get around me playing men's league hockey. Now you're getting around guys in the NHL."
Maybe I should play with him then 4 years ago, because then I would have had somebody that couldn't get around me. Plus 41 in 57 AHL games this year for the Portland club, the farm club of the Mighty Ducks. Plus 41.
And he tore it up. Nearly 40 goals. Here's a backhander by May. And Dan Heino trying to get it in front. Here's Blake, a shot right on, save by Brizgalov. And where is it? It's back of the goal. And Clark trying to keep it in. The Avalanche desperate now, down by 2. There's season on the line. Out high to Blake. In front, Hayduk a chance. Oh, and Brizgalov got across. Now Blake on the point. Blake a drive, and Brizgalov again. He has been sharp when he has been tested tonight.
3 big saves by Big Ilya Brizgalov. But he looks like so calm and collected when he stops these things. Rob Blake, a shot through a crowd. He just kicks the leg out. And take a look at it from the eyes of our KFC goal cam. You're going to get a good angle here with a big guy with the big black pillows on the legs. Make sure he covers up, but he's so calm, cool, and collected. Made 3 big saves in that little segment there and thought nothing of it.
Now Solani one-on-one here for the Ducks. Shot wide by a couple of inches. And off the inboards to center for Milan Hayduk. He gives it up, gets it back. Now locks it in a shot. And he put that one high on the glass. And O'Donnell will chip it, and it goes over the boards and off a stick and out of play.
Milan Hayduk is a guy that we said earlier in the show, he's got to get scoring. He hasn't scored a goal since the second game against Dallas. They knocked Dallas out in 5 games. This is their 4th game against the Ducks. And when I went to school, that means he hasn't scored in 7 games, John, and that's a lot for a guy who won the Rocket Richard Trophy just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, over 50 goals and has superb hands. Here's Blake with his shot, and that failed to get through. Now McLean back of it, under 8 minutes left here. McLean lost it, and Scott Niedermayer up for Rob, who is so strong on the wall. And Lyle's a good job there against Niedermayer. Now off the boards from LaPerriere, ahead to McLean. Brought in by Lyles, joining the rush. And then Scott Niedermayer intercepts and clears it back to center. And now the Avalanche making a change on the go. The Ducks to center ice with some room. Fedoruk throws it deep. Clark lost it. Now Mullen back of the goal. Getzlaf, Fedoruk, and Mullen. This unit has been tough to stop in the offensive zone. And a shot by Fedoruk and a glove save by Theodore.
Well, that's a big line out on the ice. Moen, Getzlaf, and Fedoruk are big men. All 3 of those guys can grind. Getzlaf, the 20-year-old, marvelous, marvelous hands on this big guy. Take a look at them work it around the back. Fedoruk comes out in front and right into the trapper of Theodore, but that's what that line does so well. They wear down the smaller Avalanche team by cycling it around the backboards. And Getzlaf is such an impressive young player.
Yeah, Joe Quenneville mentioned him this morning when talking about the Ducks and their skill and their size. He is very impressed with a guy with that size and skill. Not to mention the other players like Lupul and Solani, we know about them, but this Duck club has 11 players that are playing in the playoffs for the first time ever. And they are now 6 minutes and 40 seconds away from the third round.
And here's a penalty coming up. This is going to be again on the Avalanche. Jimmy Dowd takes this when he took the hand off the stick and wrapped the arm around. Now he's got a 10-minute misconduct too, so that'll be the end of Jim Dowd's night as he gets 12 minutes in penalties for speaking untoward with the official. He doesn't like this call at all.
Well, OLNTV.com and NHL.com are your links to the quest for the Cup. Get playoff highlights and analysis, plus the latest news, articles, interviews, and exclusive fan polls. OLNTV.com and NHL.com, your links to the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And if you're like Randy Robles back there in the studio, getting all those great stats, he's getting them off OLNTV.com. There's the hand come off the stick, and he wraps it around the back of the head and gets caught for the holding penalty. But Ruslan Saleh is an aggravating defenseman to play against. He's tough, he's strong, he's very physical, and you can't hurt him.
So Dowd goes for holding and the misconduct. So he's done. And the Ducks on their third power play. Here's a shot by Beauchemin wide. And Strasburg had a chance to clear it. Kept in. Now Solani back on the line. Here's Scott Niedermayer trying to walk in. And it goes to McDonald. Out high, Beauchemin. Now for McDonald again. Wrist shot. Hit the post. Right in front. Lupul a rebound attempt. It's still loose. And finally knocked out near the line, but not out of the zone. Great job by Beauchemin to keep it in. And into the slot it goes. The Ducks are all over it. Lupul again. He gets away from Strasburg to the net. A shot and a save by Theodore. And finally cleared down the ice.
3 great saves by Theodore. He really stood his ground. The Avalanche couldn't come up with the puck, so Theodore had to make 2 or 3 big saves because the only people that could get the puck were the white jerseys down on that scrum.
Now turned over. Sakic has a partial break. Fires, and he tried to go top corner and missed. And Brisebois sends it back to the goal. It came in front and held by Brizgalov. But that last sequence, a bit of a microcosm of the series for the Ducks in the offensive zone, Neil.
Well, we know how good a shot number 19 on the Avalanche has. Take a look at the shot number 19 on the Ducks has. There's the shot by Andy McDonald. That went off the post. And then take a look at Sakic's attempt to go high. He did go high, but he went high and over the net.
Now 30 seconds left in Dowd's minor. 5 to play in regulation time. As Brisebois chases it back of his goal. For LaPerriere to the net. And Brizgalov made the save. And here come the Ducks. Here's Kunitz. And rolled in, and no problem there for Theodore. He holds on.
Well, it's amazing what momentum does to teams, what confidence can do to teams. I mean, this Colorado team came out and played probably the best period of this series without any doubt in the first period. They looked full of confidence. They had the puck. They were getting scoring chances. And then all of a sudden, the Marchand goal just completely took the wind out of their sails. And they haven't been the same ever since.
And they've also gone 0 for 5 on the power play. And after missing on a couple of those power play attempts, when the game was even, Neil, it seemed like the crowd and the team said, here we go again. And the power plays let them down again. They have not scored a power play goal in the series. 0 for 24, which is hard to believe.
Well, and as we said, John, if you don't score on the power play when you're the Colorado Avalanche with Sakic, Hayduk, Brunette, Tanguay, Blake, John Michael Lyles, and your power play doesn't score, you're not going to win.
And you shouldn't win.
No, you just don't win because all you get is 1 goal. Because this team has been depending in this series on getting goals out of Jimmy Dowd, Dan Highnote, guys like that. And they're not going to beat the Ducks if their stars aren't clicking. And their stars click, let's face it, on the power play.
And the Ducks get the puck to center. Here's Big Penner, one-on-one. He goes wide, but this time Brisebois makes the play. And with 3:35 to go, Lyles trying to hit Highnote. That's blocked, and DePena will get it and lob it back in. Brisebois, long stretch pass poked in by Brunette. And then Brzgalov for Soleil, and poked away by Moen. Now it is Brisebois for Laxinen. Trying to get some speed going through the neutral zone. He gets it deep, and Wisniewski will play it all the way down. And they wave off icing here. Now Blake, need a change, center ice. For LaPerriere, walks in and puts that one wide. On the short side, off the end boards, right to Kunitz. Drops it off for Solani, to the net. That pass blocked, now Solani again, shoots it wide. And Clark picks it up for Colorado. Through center, Sakic now trying to hit Richardson. He walks in a shot. And Brzgalov down again and made the save. Now Sakic. Down low, O'Donnell trying to feed it up the wall, blocked by Sakic. And he lost it to O'Donnell. And pushed out by Kunitz.
Andy McDonald was the one that took Joe Sakic off the puck there, and as Joe goes to the bench, boy, he must be pretty disheartened.
Well, the Avalanche with it. I don't think we've seen Tanguay since that big hit, Neil, as Theodore goes off here for the extra man. 2 minutes to go. Here's Hayduk, a shot, and Brzgalov kept his leg on the right post and made the save.
That look from up here when Brzgalov bent his knee like that almost could go in over the calf muscle on his leg and go in through that little hole that was created. But as we have seen time after time after time, Ilya Brzgalov was able to snuff out that puck. Let's take a look at it from the side of the net. Actually inside the net, you're going to see it. There's where I thought from way up here it looked like it could bounce in, and obviously the Avalanche tried to jam it in.
So the net is empty. 150 left. Blake, a shot off the faceoff, wide. Bounces down low now. Brunette gets it, plays it back, and the Ducks on it. And an empty net for Marchand, and he will score. Marchand ices it, and the Ducks are going to go on to the Western Final. They will sweep the Avalanche as Marchand gets his second goal tonight.
And it's fitting that Todd Marchand should get that goal since he has been so good in this game. He got that first goal. He set up the beautiful play for Penner. His speed has been great all night. And on this play here, while the Avalanche crashed down around the net, the puck came loose, and Todd Marchand's out there to jump on that puck, go up the ice, and took the backhand shot into the empty cage. And that will be all she wrote. 4-1 Ducks with 1:38 to go.
How about these numbers for this line? Lupul, Penner, and Marchand in the last 2 games, 7 goals and 6 assists.
Amazing, just amazing. And that's that has to be offset by obviously by players on the opposite end of the rink, and that's the Avalanche, and they're good players. And we've talked about it at openings of each one of these games. The Avalanche just haven't gotten it out of the players that they got to get it from. And we're talking again about the Tanguays, the Hayduks, Joe Sakic, and Robbie Blake, who's played excellent, by the way. Rob Blake has played excellent. But again, their power play has been bad. The Ducks have been the faster team in this series. They have been physically punishing to the Avalanche. They have connected with their passes. Systematically, they've looked a lot better than the Avalanche in each and every game. I think that there has only been one period where the Avalanche have outplayed the Ducks, and that was in the first period of this game. There really hasn't been other periods in my mind when I could give a decided advantage to the Avalanche. It's always gone to the side of the Ducks. They're the more confident team. They've got more energy. And
they're on a roll, and they are going to be tough to beat in the Western Final. They're big, as you said, they're young. You know, Neil, a team has not won the Cup since '92 when they've had to go 7 games in the first round, like this Ducks team did. But now that they've swept the Avalanche, I think that goes out the window because this team will get a nice rest, and they're going to be a force in the 3rd round.
Well, they certainly are. And you know, I think a lot of these stats go out the window too, John, the way the game is played now with the no red line and the different rules. If the statistics and the records of the regular season are out the window because of comebacks and 2-goal deficits and so on, you've got to think that sooner or later somebody is going to come back from a 3-game to none deficit because of the different type of game we play. It didn't happen in this series, quite obviously, but you know what? We set a stat at the beginning of this series that teams that had won Game 7 and then had to play within 48 hours, 6 out of 7 times since 1996 have lost that Game 1. Well, guess what? The Ducks not only won Game 1, they won 2, they won 3, and then they won 4. Well, the Avalanche had been resting after taking Dallas out in 5.
And they won Game 1 5-0. It wasn't even close.
It wasn't, and Game 2 was 3-0. And this is a team, a franchise, meaning the Avalanche franchise, not the Nordiques, that have never been swept. They've had a great 10 years here. You see the X at center ice, the Roman numeral 10, which stands for the 10 fabulous years that the Avalanche have had here, led by Pierre Lacroix and his staff since coming from Quebec City. But these fans in Denver have known great hockey ever since the Avalanche got here. And again, this year, a team that struggled to make the playoffs did in fact make it and did knock out the best, the second best seed in the Western Conference. So not all is bad for the Avalanche, but certainly they've been badly outclassed in this series, and the right team, John, has won this series, and the right team has won it 4 straight.
Absolutely, and the Ducks, for the second time in 3 seasons, are going to the Western Final. As this game is over, this series is over, and the Ducks have swept the Avalanche, and they go on to the 3rd round.
And what a story. There's so many stories about the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. The Randy Carlyle is one story by himself in his first year as a head coach in the NHL. You've got a great story in Ilya Bryzgalov, the goaltender that set the record for a rookie shutout string in the playoffs, going 3 straight games without allowing a goal at all. The last game against Calgary, he shut out the Flames right in the Saddle Dome. He came in and shut out the Avalanche in the first 2 games in Anaheim. He's a great story. Todd Marchand, a guy that was put on waivers by the Blue Jackets in Columbus, come in here and made a great impact for the Anaheim team. And Dustin Penner, we've talked a lot about him, the 6'4", 245-pound rookie that's done so well. Joffrey Lupul sets an NHL record in all of the history of the NHL. No rookie has ever come in and scored 4 goals in a playoff game, including an OT winner. We saw that in this series. We see Ryan Getzlaf, a great young rookie with great wheels. And you know what? That's not all. They've got more. The Ducks have more. How about Corey Perry? He didn't get to play.
Yeah, he had a knee injury and didn't play. And there's a look at Rob Blake, and he's unrestricted. And for the Avalanche, has Rob Blake played his last game as an Avalanche? And Joe Sakic's unrestricted. So they have a lot of questions in the offseason.
They do, but I would be surprised to see players like that leave this organization. They know what a class organization Colorado is. They've had some great years here. I know Rob Blake is a class act. I know he loves it here. And, of course, Joe Sakic owns the town. And they're very dedicated players to this franchise.
So the Ducks sweep the Avalanche. And let's go downstairs, ice level, and Billy Jaffe.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Teemu Selanne joining me here. You realize that you guys just swept the team in Colorado that has never been swept. I mean, you guys came in here and absolutely took it to them.
You know what? It was so great to beat these guys, but the way how we did it, I'm not very impressed. We played 2 periods really bad, but the third period, we played a little better, but it's good to move on.
How about the way that you guys did it as a team, especially the young guys? Dustin Penner, Joffrey Lupul, fantastic. The way that they have matured in just the last few weeks, team, has got to be fantastic to watch.
I'm so proud of our young guys. They have done an unbelievable job, and without those, we would have a lot more trouble. But it's a great sign. They're going to be a great part of this franchise in the future, and what a great effort.
Lastly, before you came over here, I noticed you giving a big hug to one of your former coaches, Tony Granato, some of the other Colorado people. It's still got to be pretty sweet, though. You had a tough year here when you played with Colorado to be able to beat them in 4 straight. A little something extra for you.
Yeah, maybe a little extra, but, if you start thinking about those too much, it doesn't work. But obviously, the year here, it didn't work out very well, but it was so unique situation. But it's a past, and it's now new challenges, and very proud of this team here.
And the newest challenge for this guy is going to be the Western Conference Final. Thanks for joining us here. We look forward to covering you in the Western Conference Final.
Thank you.
All right, Teemu Selanne joining me down here on the ice. Let's head it back upstairs.
And Teemu Selanne, what a year he's having. When you think about his entire year, he played in the Olympics for Finland. They won the silver medal, losing out to Sweden for the gold. And then they've had these 2 great playoff rounds, and as we've always said, he has had a rebirth this season. Actually, Teemu Selanne, a fantastic comeback season.
And guess who had the game-winning goal tonight? The former Av, Teemu Selanne. As the Ducks sweep the Avalanche, we're back with more.